compelling reason to consider Kenya seriously is our demonstrable commitment to eradicating unemployment, poverty, hunger, disease, and inequality through our bottom-up economic transformation plan. Our focus is on transformative and inclusive growth, anchored by invigorated productivity at the bottom of the economic pyramid and driven by strategic investment in key sectors in our universal healthcare space, our food security expansion program, our agro-processing, affordable housing, the micro, small, and medium enterprise space, and of course, our digital infrastructure. Our ambition to leverage agro-industrial productivity for growth, export manufacturing, and surplus food production presents numerous investment opportunities in agriculture and in the entire food sector. Under our universal health coverage program, investment opportunities include vaccine and pharmaceutical manufacture, as well as the production of medical commodities and biomedical supplies. And I have had occasion to interact with some of the enterprises here who are considering that space. And we are extending facilities in our special economic zones for those who want to consider manufacture of pharmaceutical facilities, commodities, and supplies, not just for Kenya, but for East Africa, and if you may consider the entire. We are enhancing our technology ecosystem to attract big tech companies and startups, positioning Kenya as the premier destination in our continent. Our digital superhighway program involves laying another 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic infrastructure and establishing numerous digital hubs across the country. You may want to know that Kenya has 8 undersea cables. I think the only place where you can get such number of undersea cables anywhere in Africa. During my visit here in the US, for example, we will sign a deal between Microsoft, EcoCloud, and UAE's G42 to build a 1 gigawatt data center using US technology, UAE financing, and of course, Kenyan geothermal energy resources. That kind of collaboration and partnership is what we need and is what we are talking about. Kenya's largest BPO company, CCI Global, has doubled its workforce, adding another 4,000 jobs to serve American clients like United Airlines, Spirit Airlines, JetBlue, AT&T, and Shift, highlighting the importance of ICT-reliant sector in our partnership. We also lead in e-mobility. You heard Ambassador make that statement, hosting over 30 e-mobility companies and attracting regional players like Ampersand and US electric vehicle leader, Rivian. And just for you to contextualize this, in this year's budget, we will be eliminating all taxes for the first 100,000 cars that are powered by electric energy. Our affordable housing agenda will be realized through the construction of 200,000 housing units annually over the next 5 years. The opportunity to invest in this sector exists, and I have had occasion, and a friend of mine mentioned to me that they are willing to consider investment in that space because we believe that annually we should be able to have 200,000 homeowners in Kenya, and we want to have a private-public partnership engagement to deliver on the same. We have made tremendous investment to develop a modern, efficient, and seamless integrated transport, communication, and energy infrastructure. Our excellent network of ports, railways, roads, and airports reinforce Kenya's position as the gateway to East, Central, and Southern Africa. Additionally, as was mentioned here, 93% of Kenya's national grid is powered by renewable energy from abundant hydro, wind, solar, and geothermal resources, placing us on track to achieving 100% clean energy supply by 2032. Recognizing that private sector and players in that space require predictable policies, including tax policies, for long-term investment decisions, Kenya has been updating tax policy guidelines since June last year to enhance the predictability of our tax regime. We are committed to continue doing this every 5 years to make sure that you can make your investment decisions knowing what taxes you're going to pay. Additionally, we have reviewed our digital services tax regime, aligning it with the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, commonly known as OECD, inclusive framework. VAT on exported services is no longer payable, and verified tax refund claims will be processed within 6 months, failing which taxpayers can offset their claim against future tax liabilities without further application to our Kenya Revenue Authority. Startup companies are now exempt from paying tax due from unrealized gains on employee-allocated shares. Our commitment to making Kenya one of the most attractive places to do business has already borne fruit. Kenya has been ranked the third most attractive place to do business in Africa by the World Bank, and we are continuing to build on this success story to do more, to attract more. To enhance effectiveness and responsiveness is managing the growing volume of interactions. We have established a structured engagement framework. This includes the recently launched trilateral business dialogue between the American Chamber of Commerce, the Government of Kenya, and the United States, which shall be mandated to meet every 3 months to address and resolve challenges faced by investors and other businesses in our country. This is important because we value each of our 400 US companies that participated in the 4th AmCham and those that have chosen Kenya as the location of their regional branches or headquarters. Our intention is to ensure that companies like Amazon Web Services, Apple, Citigroup, Coca-Cola, and this afternoon we signed an investment program with Coca-Cola of $175 million over the next 5 years, including Del Monte, General Electric, Google, Hello Tractor, IBM, Intel, Kentegra, MasterCard, Microsoft, Oracle. Do I need to continue? All of them are among many companies that we guarantee maximum value for their investors by realizing the full benefits of working from Kenya, working in Kenya, and working with Kenyans. I thank the American Chamber and specifically Ambassador Mick Whitman, the US Ambassador to Kenya, for their leadership in establishing this important framework. Ambassador Whitman continues to be a great friend of Kenya and a tireless champion of US investors. Her round-the-clock involvement has enabled us to make very quick progress in our dialogues and in implementing our consensus. This is the spirit in which Kenya and the US should engage now and always. Together, through effective partnerships, we have a historic opportunity to unlock the vast potential for the benefits of millions of Kenyans and Americans alike. The case I make is straightforward. Kenya works, Kenya means business. As long as you are talking investment, we are ready for you, and together we shall make your vision to be. Welcome to Kenya, and I thank you. We are committed to attracting significant foreign direct investment by creating a stable, transparent, and predictable business environment. Consequently, we are continuously enhancing our institutional framework, regulatory regime, and providing incentives to attract foreign direct investment. Kenya offers a highly strategic location to set up your business, whether you are interested in the domestic market of about 55 million people, or the East African market with 8 countries and a population of 330 million people, or you are interested in the COMESA ecosystem together with SADC that brings together 27 countries, a population of 720 million people, and a GDP of $3.4 trillion. That is the space and the scope you can get by investing in Kenya. Nairobi is a rational and strategic choice for many global multinational firms, international organizations, and NGOs due to its incomparable geostrategic position, and we host the only UN headquarters in the global south. We are renowned for our well-educated, highly skilled, hospitable, and enterprising population, including motivated young men and women who reflect our entrepreneurial spirit.
One of the reasons I am so optimistic is Kenya's entrepreneurial spirit. In my view, Kenyans should be known as Innovation Nation. And let me give you a couple of examples. Kenya's entrepreneurs attracted close to $800 million in startup capital in 2023, climbing to the top spot in Africa. On a pure dollar basis, not as a percentage of GDP, on a pure dollar basis, Kenya receives more startup capital than any other country on the continent, dramatically outperforming other leading countries like Nigeria, Egypt, and South Africa. Kenya's startup ecosystem is particularly strong in e-commerce, fintech, agriculture and agri-tech, health tech, ed tech, apparel, electronics manufacturing, and of course, green energy. And when it comes to advantages, Kenya has several. It's the gateway to East Africa. It has a very well-educated labor force hungry for cutting-edge jobs and fluent in English. And Silicon Savannah, which is just like Silicon Valley, but is on its way to real prosperity. And opportunities abound in many sectors, and a golden opportunity is staring us right in the face of a sector I like to call health tech. Zipline is a San Francisco-based designer, manufacturer, and operator of delivery drones, and it's supplying essential drugs and blood to hard-to-reach areas in several African countries, including Rwanda, Ghana, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, and Kenya, with expansion planned to Tanzania soon. The company started operations in Kenya in January of 2023 and employs already over 70 Kenyans, including all its drone pilots, for 18 drones that make up to 90 deliveries a day. Opportunities also exist in advanced manufacturing, an essential aspect of any high-performing modern economy, and a sector that Kenya is primed to lead on the continent. I bet you didn't know that Kenya had a semiconductor company. Semiconductor Technologies Limited, what we call STL, is a Kenyan semiconductor manufacturing and nanotechnology company specializing in advanced semiconductor tool manufacturing, semiconductor chip wafer production, nanotechnology research and development, and supply chain security. What Intel was to Silicon Valley, STL can be to Silicon Savannah. And it's companies like STL that are leading the way to a better and brighter future for Kenya. Kenya has done very well attracting venture capital to startups, but it continues to fall below its full potential in promoting foreign direct investment. We worked together last year to reform laws that previously discouraged foreign direct investment in tech and business process outsourcing. But Kenya is also going to make similar reforms to encourage foreign direct investment in energy, mining, and green manufacturing. On taxes, Kenya must have a consistent and transparent and fairly administered national tax policy to attract and retain foreign direct investment. In my view, Kenya doesn't have to have the lowest tax rate, but it must have a consistent, transparent tax rate that is predictable, because companies make 4, 5, 10-year investments based on an understanding of the tax law. And that is well underway, I'm pleased to say, in Kenya. Well, I have been the U.S. ambassador to Kenya for nearly 2 years, and I've had the opportunity to get to know the Kenyan people, Kenyan officials, and Kenyan and American businesses. And what I have seen of our economic relationship has been impressive and inspiring. Despite challenges, there are exciting opportunities being seized and waiting to be captured. Second, I have been in your shoes. I know what it's like to make business decisions. I encourage calculated risk-taking. This is the moment to take a risk, to consider investing in Africa and in Kenya. This is the moment to diversify your supply chain and achieve your green energy goals. This is the moment to capitalize on our 60-year partnership and invest and build and grow our respective economies. Investing in Africa, and specifically Kenya, a continent and a country that feels a lot to me like Southeast Asia 20 years ago. It's young, it's vibrant, it's ambitious, and it offers the opportunity to do good while you're growing your business. The risk is worth taking. Opportunity is knocking on the door. Will you answer that door? Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you tonight.
His Excellency, President Ruto, and members of the Kenyan delegation, the City of Atlanta is honored to have you make a stop in our great city on this visit. Here in Atlanta, we celebrate all of the global cultures that continue to influence us. That includes the thousands of Kenyans who call Metro Atlanta home now. Their contributions have helped shape the fabric of Atlanta's communities. Of course, our global connectivity is helped by being home to the world's busiest and most efficient airport, Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Our airport is not only a gateway connecting us to the world, but also a hub for international commerce, travel, and exchange. I know that Kenya already has a relationship with notable Atlanta-based organizations that work to change the world, from CARE to the CDC and the Carter Center and King Center. These are institutions recognized all over the world for their work advancing economic empowerment, health, and human rights. And our city itself is recognized all over the world as the cradle of the civil rights movement that now has become a beacon for the entire world. We are recognized as a global, welcoming city that has made a commitment to fostering relationships that position us and this entire region as an international hub for commerce, innovation, culture, and diplomacy. As you know, Atlanta is rich with history and diversity, especially as it relates to the African diaspora. That's why we were so happy to host the Pan-African Trade and Investment Conference last fall that included representatives from the Cooperative University of Kenya. So thank you again, Mr. President, for making Atlanta your first stop on this diplomatic visit to the United States. Let us make this visit the start of a new chapter of cooperation, of friendship, and shared prosperity between Atlanta and Kenya, as well as other East African nations. And I indeed intend to come visit you in Kenya soon. Thank you.